Hi, this is Chris, and we are taking a look at questions 5 through 7 here on SAT Practice Test 4, Section 4. So for question 5, it says the density of an object is equal to the mass of the object divided by the volume of the object. So let's write a little equation for that. Density equals mass divided by volume. And the question is asking what is the volume? So we're going to solve for V in milliliters of an object with a mass of 24 grams at a density of 3 grams per milliliter. Now, a lot of times, especially on more difficult questions, we have to be really careful about the units, but here we can operate off benefit of the doubt by looking at the fact that we're on question 5 out of 30 multiple choice questions. So difficulty-wise, we're still in the very early parts of this section, which means that they probably won't give us too many tricks with the units. And if you check, you can in fact tell here, this is in milliliters, this is in grams, this is grams per milliliter. So all the units do line up, but if you weren't sure, go ahead and just plug in the numbers and don't worry about units on a question this early. Now later, on a more difficult question, would there be added difficulty if they threw some unit conversions in there? Yeah, probably. But here for question 5, we're trying to solve for volume. They tell us the density is 3, and that the mass in this case is 24. So we plug that into our formula. To solve, we multiply by V on both sides to get it out of that denominator. We get 3V equals 24. And we divide both sides by 3. We get V equals 8, which is answer choice B for number 5. All right, let's take a look at number 6. It says, last week Raul worked 11 more hours than Angelica. So here we can use R and A for these variables just to make them representative. If you use X and Y for everything, sometimes it's hard to tell what's what. So R is 11 more than A. So that would be like saying A plus 11. If you add 11 hours to Angelica's work hours, then you'll end up with Raul's total. All right, if they were to combine total of 59 hours, so here this is combined, which means this would be Raul and Angelica's hours together is going to equal 59. And they want us to solve for A. So here we have two variables and we have two equations. So we are looking at a systems of equations question, but it's kind of nice because this is already set up where one of the variables is isolated. We have R equals A plus 11. So we can plug in this expression, A plus 11, in place of R. And normally we might want to try elimination, but this one's too easy to do substitution because in the description in the question, we already have an isolated variable. So we can do simple substitution here. And we have A plus 11 in place of R. Again, I'll just highlight that so we can kind of follow along that color coding there. We're just replacing R with A plus 11 and then leaving everything else as is. To simplify, we get 2A plus 11 equals 59 when we combine like terms. Subtract 11 from both sides, 2A would be equal to 48. And if we divide by 2, we will get A equals 24. Now let's double check, make sure we know what the question's asking. Are they asking for A or R? Because we did have the two variables, and they do want to know how many hours Angelica worked last week. So it is A that we're solving for. This is, in fact, going to be our correct answer. Okay, let's move over and take a look at question 7, which has some information given in a table here about types of movies and the corresponding ticket sales. And so let's read what they want to know. It says the table above represents the 50 movies that had the greatest ticket sales in 2012, categorized by movie type and Motion Picture Association of America rating. What proportion of the movies are comedies with a PG-13 rating? So we have to look at two pieces here. First, they're asking for a proportion. And when they say of, this tells us that whatever comes after that is going to be our denominator of our proportion. That's the total. So when they say of here, they say of the movies. So that means out of all of them, which would be 50 here. That's our denominator. We're looking for a certain number out of 50. And let's see the specific type that they want data for this proportion. They say They want comedies with a PG-13 rating. So let's take a look at our chart and see if we can find where that would be. So comedy, PG-13, that would be a total of 4. So 4 out of those 50 movies are comedies with a PG-13 rating. And if you look at your answer choices, you don't see 4 over 50 for any of the answer choices. Very commonly when you're dealing with probability or proportions, they're oftentimes going to have them in their reduced form for a correct answer. So let's see if we can reduce this fraction. 4 and 50 are both divisible by 2. And when we reduce that, divide by 2, we end up with 2 over 25 as our reduced form of that proportional relationship, which gives us answer 2.